I mean, Sean has to start the show.
Yeah.
So I apologize.
I'll let you know when we're live, Sean. On this one, I'm pretty sure we're live, but let me just double check. I gotta get our redundancy up right now. There we go. Okay.
I was gonna be like, Kale's not on. It's fine.
So Sean, we're live.
All right. Welcome to the show. Welcome to Pals Pulls. Hopefully you are here with us and you have read some comics this week and you're ready to talk about some comics this week, because the three of us, including Tyler.
Oh, that was my cue. Hello.
Wow. Marco.
What's up, hot dog? Oh,
Wow.
sorry. Give
That
me one
is
sec. Hold on.
unreal.
Hold on.
Yeah, mute yourself, Marco.
Hey, Kale. Yeah. Oh, are you seen the stream? Well, I mean, I mean, you weren't here, so I figured it'd be okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'll do a different bit. Okay. All right, yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah. All right. Love you too. Okay. Sorry about that, guys.
Marco came to work with the bit. All right.
I'm here too. And we're ready to talk some comics. Say hello as you join us. We got 4 big books to talk about this week. Real DC week. Fill in the DC love. Not the DC films love. We'll talk about that dumpster fire on the main show, because there's a lot to talk about this Saturday on Twitch, 10:15 a.m. We'll be getting into that. But this week we've got Dark Crisis number 3.
Is that a Capullo variant?
Looks like it. Looks like a Capullo joint. Find out in a moment. We got Batman 126, which, oh boy, got a lot to say about that one.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah,
that was a Lee. That was a Lee Weeks variant, by the way. It's very good.
Okay.
Lovely
Ooh,
Weeks.
okay.
New champion of Shazam number 1.
Nice.
Mary Marvel taking center stage, or should we say Marina? And Immortal X-Men number 5. Now, I know this issue is based around what's his name?
Exodus.
But I don't care. If there's an Emma Frost variant, you buy the Emma Frost variant.
Not only is that an Emma Frost variant, is that an Art Adams Emma Frost variant?
Might be, brother. I don't know.
Hold on, I'm looking this up now, because I'm a big Art Adams mark.
Hey, Trapzord, welcome. Thank you
That's
for
good,
joining.
bud.
Before we get into the reviews, I do want to let you guys know how you can support the show. There is a link to everything we do in our link tree, the description of anything that we put out. But I do want to shout out patreon.com/thecomicspals, where for as little as $3 a month, you can support your boys and get drunk. Well, you can get recipes to get drunk through our newsletter. This was Tyler's week. He put out a drinky drink for you guys. So
It's a little more a bougie drink. It's a gin drink, so you have to be a gin guy to.
Empress too. That was good selection.
Ooh, I like Empress. Yeah.
It's very good.
also, do want to say thank you all for the Twitch follows. We finally made it to 100, so we appreciate that very much. Keep supporting in every way that you feel comfortable with. YouTube.com/thecomicspals. Subscribe for free, like the video, share it with your friends. All that's free to do. Helps us out a lot more than it costs you. Last thing I want to mention is our Chainsaw Man book club is out right now. And actually, you guys seem to be really enjoying it. It's doing really well. Thank you for that. I'm shocked. I don't know why.
Does that make you mad? The manga book club is doing well.
Yeah, that's like our book clubs do okay, but it's like this one we put out and it's outpacing main show episodes. It's like, come on, guys, come on.
Yo, and they're asking for more. Like that's every other comment.
Yeah,
Really? All right.
well, you know what? I'm asking for more of Dark Crisis, because this event it started off really weak, but issue 2 I thought was hot, and number 3 didn't disappoint. Joshua Williamson, Daniel Semper, Danny Miki on inks, Alejandro Sanchez on colors, Tom Napolitano did the letters. Now, I was not present for the review of issue 2. I thought that issue was fantastic. This issue maybe not quite as good, but I thought it had a lot of strong moments, and I think it's this event, man. It's kicking ass so far. I really think so.
All right. Well,
For me, no, Marco, you can go, Marco. I want to know.
it's all right. We've done a few events on this show on some of the main show stuff, so I'm like getting into the groove of it. I think I think there's just like drama there that I'm not buying into at the moment, and that's the hard part for me at the moment. I can see it, and it's just not keyed in. Like I don't care. I don't care yet, and I think that that's where Williamson really needs to get me. He needs to make me care.
This is your first Crisis reading monthly, right? As it
That
comes
too.
out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
For me, I'm kind of of two minds about this. One mind is this feels like Crisis on Infinite edging. Like it just feels like we're just edging to like a climax here, and like it's just prolonging it each issue. Like it's we're in issue 3 and we're still in like the build up phase. I feel like there's little character moments, specifically the ones that jump out to me were like the Ravager Deathstroke one, or Black Adam in his Justice League. That kind of jumped out to me too as like fun little character bits. But we're still in the building the team phase. We've been in that since issue 1. And it's kind of annoying me. But on the other end, this is like classic DC comic event sort of thing. Like literally every issue has been. Issue 1 was here's the Green Lantern Corps. Issue 2 was what was the big reveal there? It wasn't the. I guess it was like our team or whatever.
Yeah, it was mostly just that huge fight.
Yeah, and then issue 3 shows JSA returning with both Wildcats, by the way, and Wildcat Prime has a line of dialogue, so we get to hear Wildcat for the first time on this podcast.
Wow.
Yeah, big stuff. And then it also brings back the Legion of Doom, which it is wholesome DC goodness, and Sampere on art is fantastic. This is just like peak house style, and I don't mean that in a pejorative sense. Like I would consider like an Ivan Rice a house style, but like this is this kind of person you would have put on a Crisis book.
Yeah.
This is up there with like how Jimenez's art was during Infinite Crisis, or even Rice did Blackest Night, right? Yeah.
I think so. Call him Ivan. It's not Ivan.
Tomato. I don't know.
All right.
I always thought it was more ethnic sounding. I don't know why. I don't know. But yeah. So it's. I feel like nothing's happening, but at the same time, I'm enjoying it, and it's kind of annoying me.
Well, let's talk about that, because this is very much a cool down issue. And I think that whenever you have that big beat, like issue 2, where you have this huge fight between, Deathstroke and his villains against the Teen Titans, this huge, statement battle, you do have to have a cool down period. We do have to catch up emotionally with these characters and see where they're at after this, major clash. And I think there were some pretty good, moments here, seeing that these kids are afraid. Some of them are afraid, seeing that their families are worried about them, seeing that, the world is in shambles because the Justice League isn't here to just solve the problems. And you mentioned building a team. Just because they build a team doesn't mean that they can solve this. And I think that's why the team part is not what's most important. This is about the absence of the legacy characters and who's going to fill their shoes. We know who's going to fill them. It's everybody. It takes the world to fill in for the Justice League. And I love how we're seeing, the much older veteran, JSA. We're seeing the analog to the Justice League, the Legion of Doom, all stepping in. They're all wrong. This is about the kids. You know what I'm saying? This is about the youth. They have to be the ones to save the day here. And so I feel like this issue does do a good job of showing us that, even on the villain side, because we have this great interaction between Deathstroke rather, and Ravager, where she kind of hates her dad because he sucks.
Especially
now.
That,
Yeah. He's a bad dude.
The moment with Yara and with Black Adam I thought was pretty good too, of showcasing the individual characters here. The younger Justice League is showcasing at the very least that they care, and they care about being good. They care about being heroes. Some of them are a bit more cynical about it. I like those dynamics. I think that's playing well. At the very least that's working for me, but I don't know that. I think the building of the team is still necessary, because we don't know we don't know why they individually want to join, whether they are or not. Even we don't know. Well, some of them are just like, oh, Black Adam is right. We can't do this, and we can't. We can't actually live up to their history, and it's hopeless, XYZ, right? There's, for me, that feels like it's not fleshed out yet who cares enough to be part of the new Justice League to then live up to them.
So let me ask you a question. How do you think this event's going to end?
Genuinely, I think the other people, the JSA, the now Legion of Doom, are going to come in, fuck shit up in their own way, and
fuck shit up negatively.
Yeah, I think.
Okay.
Well, I think the Legion
cause
of
a
Doom,
fuck up.
Yeah, the Legion of Doom specifically, the JSA is going to clean that up and teach the younger Justice League, hey, this is how we handle the villains. But none of that eventually solves the lack of Justice League, and I think at the end of this, they're just going to come back, and we're not actually going to see these characters get elevated.
Okay, so you think that the book will end with the Justice League coming back?
Yeah.
Right? That's obvious. So if the book is going to end with the Justice League coming back, who the fuck cares what team they put together for the next, I don't know, 4 issues or however long this is?
But that's what I mean. I don't care then, right?
Because that's not the point, is what I'm saying. That's not the point. The point is that the world is in crisis and it needs its heroes. And fuck the label. That's to me. That's all we're seeing, is that there you have these different factions. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. We need something different. We need something new. And these kids are that new.
But I think if you have to say who cares for what happens in this book, then something's wrong.
But that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying who cares what happens. I'm saying I don't think that's what the book is about at all. I don't think the book is about, hey, we just need a new Justice League. Because they were all there, right?
No, yeah, I agree.
Right, that's what I'm saying. They were all there. They still lost. It doesn't matter who you call the Justice League. It matters what you do. And these kids aren't ready yet, and they need to get ready.
I'm viewing this as the world needs the Justice League. Here's why we need to get them back.
Right.
And who can step up to do that? That's how I'm reading it. Yeah.
That's how I'm reading it too. But I don't think that it's about, let's put together a team and call it Justice League. I think it's about hey,
I agree.
We need to elevate these kids, right? Here's how we're going to do it. They're all going to get heroic moments. They're going to be the ones to save the legacy characters. And then Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman will clean up. That's my mentality. And I'm here for that. It's a crisis.
I just think, for me, it's just like issue 3, and we're still building that. Where's the rescue mission? I know they're they're a little unsure of themselves, and it's still a team building thing, but it just seems like in terms of plot progression, we're still in the same spot we were at the beginning. What do we know issue 1? Deathstroke has got a bunch of villains, and he's taking advantage of the Justice League isn't there. Issue 3, where have we gone? We know the same thing. Nothing else has really happened.
Story has happened. What do you mean?
Sure, we get character bits there. I think character story has happened. Yara, deciding to join the team, or a rift between Damian and John Kent is starting to happen there. So we get character bits, but in terms of the actual plot, nothing has changed.
What about all that Green Lantern shit?
I'm gonna get there. That's the only thing that's happened so far in 3 issues that has really brought the I guess the overall plot forward. Otherwise, it's just been, hey, we have the Green Lantern Corps. Hey, we have the Justice Society. Here are things you like. Let's show them off and have some character bits in between. I think once we figured out the Justice League aren't dead, but they're their own universes. I was like, ooh, that's interesting. I want to see more of that. But we got 3 pages of it. So maybe issue 4 can actually give me some meatiness that I want, and maybe that's when it changes the title too. And becomes on Infinite Earth sort of thing. And maybe that's what they've been waiting for this whole time.
Well, they're showing us that already in the side stories, right? Like the Superman one we read a couple weeks ago.
Is that what that is?
Yes.
Is
the worlds
that
without
world?
a Justice League are that.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
And
I was absent for that issue, so I haven't gotten to that yet.
Oh, okay. Okay. That's fair. But even this, tease with Green Lantern, John Stewart is the one that got taken, and so now they're in John Stewart's world. This is the world that was made out of him, if you will. Mm-hmm. And so that's how Hal's there. But I don't know, man. I guess I came away from this a lot more positive. I thought it was really enjoyable. I think that Williamson understands what crisis events are at DC, and he's leaning into it, and it feels good. The dialogue doesn't always hit. Pariah has some funky stuff that he says, "You dare suggest I cannot master the darkness?" It's a really kind of cheesy line, but
it is very comic book classic villain scene chewiness.
Yeah.
It is interesting that he's got the Anti-Monitor armor on.
Right.
Only other people have worn that are the Anti-Monitor himself and Superboy Prime. So it's oh, okay. All right.
And I loved Hal referencing that. Mm-hmm. And I thought that whole scene was awesome. And then I just want to show this page off. Hal getting erased.
That was cool.
It's very
awesome.
You haven't read Crisis on Infinite Earths, right?
I haven't.
That's the exact way Barry Allen dies in it, except he dies slowly, and then it slowly trickles into smaller panels. So I like the inversion of it, where the panels get smaller and they get bigger again because he's coming back to life in a different universe. So I thought that was a good play on and a good callback. And I think this book is good with the callbacks. There are plenty to classic. This is the DC you know and love. Let me reference all the good parts that you remember. Right. Even the Black Lantern, I pop for that. That's my heyday. Necron. Hearing Necron's name, I'm hell yeah, I fucking love Necron.
And it was so smart also to pair up Hal with Sojourner from Far Sector.
Yep.
To put her here. She needs to be focused on more, and she hasn't, at least to my knowledge, done a ton of interaction with the rest of DC. So it's cool to see her get spotlighted here a little bit. I like that.
Is she the only Young Animals character to actually have legs?
Was she from Young Animals?
Yeah.
I didn't even realize that was a Young Animal book, but
yeah, it was. It was one of the second wave of Young Animals. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Mother Panic hasn't been seen since. I guess Doom Patrol, is in there, but
yeah.
Oh, I especially love the little bit of the flowers that Beast Boy gets that are from Doom Patrol, and I was like, all right, yeah, I like that. That's good.
And we haven't talked about it too much, but the art is top notch. It's just crazy how good this art is. You talk about comic book prices getting more expensive. This is a $6 comic, and I don't care because the art is so strong.
Real good to look at.
It's just so high quality. Every time you turn the page, look at this page, right, where it's all gray. And the only light is the green that lights the Green Lantern's bodies. But you see them, these big images of them looking monstrous in the background as they fall into who knows what. This also is amazing.
Real fan service to have Kyle Rayner be the third one there too.
Why?
Because Kyle Rayner's that lantern everyone asks for, and he never actually gets a spotlight. So I feel like that's well. He's like the Cesaro of the Green Lanterns. You know, like good workhorse, never gets the spotlight, sort of thing. And if he
Fair
does,
enough.
it's jobbing to someone else.
In this case, Pariah. Yeah, I thought this was really awesome. I definitely say pull. If the next book we were about to talk about wasn't here, it would be my book of the week.
Oh, interesting.
Really? Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna have
really like
bad
this
things
one.
to say about the next one.
No.
I'm not. I can't say pull yet, honestly.
Ooh.
At the $6 price tag, like I don't. I can't in good conscience say it yet. But I will say yet. I could be reading issue 4 and singing a different tune at this point, but
Wow.
Yeah, I'm not hot on this book, and I wonder even if I had the history, if I would want to. I imagine because of it, I probably would, but as it is now, nah.
man,
I'm
I
not
kind of
gonna
want
pull
to.
this.
I want to see you like that'd be a good newsletter thing if you went through all the different crises and
I have
gave your
the-
hot takes on that.
The
Yeah.
DC app. Actually, yeah, it's not a bad idea. Okay.
Yeah, you're welcome. I just wrote your newsletters for you. That way you're not doing 35 pages on what manga or whatever.
Hey now.
Yeah.
All right. So, speaking of the next book, let's talk about Batman 126.
Oof.
So this is
Oof.
Chip Zdarsky, Jorge Jimenez on art, Samu Moret on colors, and Clayton Cowles did the letters. Man, I really, really love the way this run is starting.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is
I-
awesome.
Yo, Chip actually bringing Signal in. Yo, he knows.
Yo,
he
yes.
those Signal fans are like Sasha Banks fans. Like you don't fuck with them.
That's right.
So he brought in the actual crew minus Red Hood, which makes sense, especially continuity wise, because Red Hood is doing his own thing right now. But
Yeah.
yeah, I really like this, and it's not because of Chip. It's because of the fucking art. I love this art, man. It's so good.
Amazing. It's amazing.
Yo, this art was janky in some places. I'll call out an instance as we get into it. Actually, we're on it. I'll
Yeah,
call it out
yeah.
now. Hold on. Sean, can you go to? There's a page where Nightwing, like when he first shows up, and he's just like
His shoulders.
No, one big panel. Oh yeah, the shoulders, his hip, and then like his whole body structure
Yeah.
is all fucked up. And I'm like, what's up there? Yeah, dude. Like,
You say fucked up. I just say like that's Jimenez's style.
No,
I feel.
dude. It's super like the lines are super straight. They're just like they cut at weird angles for me. Even if this was stylistic, they like I feel like there's like the page right before that where he does his flip, the actual body, like the chest down, is fleshed out much more, and then you flip to the next page and it just shrinks as if he has like no stomach, and then his ass is just sticking out for some reason.
Well, it's because his Nightwing. His ass has to stick out. That's
Fair enough.
an
It's
editorial
funny.
thing. Yeah.
It's funny you say that because I've seen this exact same image floating around the internet all day, and people just love Nightwing. Like
What?
people are loving it. Yeah.
Oh, bananas. Okay, all right, it's me.
I like it. I like how it's weird. I like how it's a little stretchy. It's a little loose. It's not as for a Batman book. I expect either that kind of like a Francavilla sort of something you'd expect from like a detective book, where it's a little more flat, a little more realistic, or like DC House style, like a Sampier. This is neither of those. This is very. There's a kineticism to it that I really enjoy, which lends to the actual story of the book, because this issue was essentially one giant chase scene. The fight scenes are great. The Jimenez's way that he does weird canted angles that he does. I think it's specifically when when Batman and Tim are on like a fire escape is what I remember. I'm trying to find it right now.
It's like one of the first pages.
Yeah, it's right after the title page.
Yeah.
It's this weird angle that it kind of keeps Batman, straight into the foreground, but it's still taking it from like a weird under angle, which is great. I really enjoy it. He was one of my favorite. He was one of the big reasons why I like Tinian's run, and I like that it's continuing. And he's even playing with the art a little more. Yeah, this is my jam.
So, not only is the art phenomenal, and you talk about just like a constant fight, a constant chase. But when you talk about a chase, you think, oh yeah, Batman's chasing the villain. No, Batman's being chased.
Yeah, that was cool.
Like Batman's being hunted by this new villain, maybe this new player called Failsafe. And it's funny because I think it was last week. We weren't talking about this book because I missed a review for this. We were talking about Batman to some degree. And I mentioned how Failsafe and that concept reminded me of the Batman of Zur-En-Arrh.
Yes.
And that is exactly what happens here.
You probably popped for that hard, huh? Being a big
Dude.
Batman Morrison run fan.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
So, go ahead.
what I'm sniffing too is I'm getting a little bit of a, when I hear failsafe, I think, all right, this is Batman's failsafe to if he ever went rogue.
Right.
And I'm getting a lot of like Morrison's JLA, the Tower of Babel sort of thing, where he wrote failsafes for all the Justice League. So I'm like feeling like, oh, this is his own failsafe that he wrote.
Yeah.
And Zur-En-Arrh is this failsafe for Batman itself, where that's the only way he can get the keys to fixing this failsafe is an own failsafe in his psyche. So I said failsafe way too many times in that sentence, but yeah, I'm liking it. There's a lot of references to Morrison's run on Justice League and Batman that I'm feeling in this that I really enjoy.
And it also, there's a constant string of action, but it also has a lot to say about, how Batman feels about, the Bat family, and all these essentially kids, these young people who choose without the resources. I mean, he gives them the resources, but, without necessarily having the resources up front or the same exact drive that he has to do this, who step up to fight crime in Gotham. This ain't what they signed up for. Fighting failsafe, this is not a part of that plan. And I love the fact that this whole issue, for me, I'm thinking, who's going to die? Like, who's at risk? They're all at risk, and no one feels safe to me.
I would say that's slightly diminished by the fact that Tim Drake gets a bullet to the throat a day before this, and he's running around fine. Yeah. Like, there's some comic book logic here that is like, oh, all right, okay.
I'm fine. It was okay.
Yeah.
Well, I was just keyed into the story, and to the intensity of the moments, and I thought they did a great job. Man, and when Batman goes and he, and I kind of had a feeling what he was gonna do, towards the end of the book, and he emerges. I almost don't even want to show it because it's just so like I want people to go buy it.
I love that costume.
Yeah.
Because it is garish. That's the only word I could think to describe it. There's a McFarlane Zur-En-Arrh Batman action figure, right? It comes with like the bat too. Yeah,
I've seen it.
It's good, Sean. It's good.
I know. I want it.
What run is that from? That's Morrison's, but what?
It's Batman R.I.P. specifically.
Yeah, the costume emerges during R.I.P. But it makes a lot more sense if you have read the whole run of Morrison's, because it that happening is a major it's a I don't know how to
a culmination of other things that happened in the run. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, exactly. This was my book of the week. I can't gush enough about the way that Chip's run is starting. I don't think that failsafe is the end game for Chip.
Just naming Batman runs at this point.
Well, the villain, I guess.
I know. Yeah.
But I do think that this is a great way to start. I think the art is awesome and phenomenal. Getting major Terminator vibes from this villain. Just that unstoppable force that keeps coming and doesn't stop. I think that's a great twist because Batman is that.
And I also love a book where Batman is his own villain. Like those are like good things for me because like we know Batman can take down his rogues gallery. Like that's always going to happen. If there's a villain in Gotham, Batman will solve it. But if the villain is him, there's usually some lasting side effects of that.
And that's maybe the only problem that I have right now. And I need to see how Chip is going to solve this because Batman didn't kill the Penguin. So why? I get that, or at least I think I get that failsafe exists in case Batman starts killing his own rogues or loses it. But Batman's been framed for murder and lots of things like this have happened before. Why is it now happening?
Failsafe was just networked in through like a Cat 6 cable to Facebook News. It's like, oh, well, it was on the news.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah, obviously, Paul, book of the week. I can't stress enough how good I think this is.
I would also add the backups are almost just as good. I think the Catwoman backups by Bell and Ortega on art, which is very different than the Jimenez art. It's a lot more cartoony. Is that fair? That's fair, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's a much much more lighthearted story than what we're getting in the main book.
It is.
I think so,
Yeah,
which
I
is
think so
saying
too.
something because children are killed in it. But the children
fun.
of the Penguin are killed. Sorry, not actual children. But
It has there's like a fun air to it. It feels like a romp that you're in alongside alongside the ride for, and I think that's a fun thing for me.
it's a little goofy too, and I kind of like that.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying them. It's interesting that there's a Catwoman backup when Catwoman has an ongoing already.
Agreed. Yeah.
Fair.
But it's a different flavor. So
I would maybe prefer a backup on, I don't know, like one of the Robins who's not in a starring role, or like a
who might that be?
Duke.
Yeah, exactly.
I was gonna say I would also like a Ghostmaker backup. I really like Ghostmaker.
Sure.
As a character too. So
I think Duke could have used it. I think Ghostmaker's a great call too. Even Tim. I'd like to follow up with him on what he's going through. I mean, that was a traumatic experience. This book spends no time talking about that, but
or even Barbara. Yeah. Barbara currently does not have a starring role in anything. She's one of the main characters of Batgirls.
Right.
Well,
but that's more of an ensemble piece. True. Yeah. Duke really would be the only one because Jason's in Task Force X right now, or Task Force Z, which very fun book. Recommend that one.
Not reading that, but you guys obviously said pull, right, for this?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, pull this.
Do you guys want to keep reviewing it? Let us know if you think we should keep reviewing it, because it is an ongoing with no end in sight. We often won't do those every single issue. We'll do them for the books we really love, like some of the X-Men stuff. Should we keep doing this?
For me, it's for me, it's always a case of if by the next issue I'm saying the same shit, then maybe the issue after that we skip. You know what I mean? So when I see redundancies where I'm like, maybe we'll skip an issue or wait till the next arc or something like that. That's personally me. But listeners, let us know.
Well, this next one's only 4 issues, so it'll be easy to keep up with if we actually like it, and we're about to find out right now. New Champion of Shazam #1. This is by newcomer to comics, Josie Campbell. Not newcomer to comics, Doc Shaner on art. Becky Carey. Sorry?
I would say comic book industry darling, Doc Shaner.
Oh, yeah. Veteran, darling, future Hall of Famer. And then letters by Becky Carey. So, Mary Marvel's taking the big stage. She has been called up to be Shazam. And this 4-issue mini is going to sort of explain how and we'll see her first adventure, and what superheroing looks like when Mary Marvel is at the head. I think that, look, I'll be upfront. I have no relationship to Mary Marvel. Like, Shazam family is not my thing. So I had no expectations here. I know her mostly from the movie, like her personality.
Okay.
So this was a really good sort of catch up to figure out who she is. Campbell does a great job of establishing her as like, hey, she's a person who, you know, has the story's never been about her, basically. She was the unwanted child. You know, she was the runaway. She was like, even the first page breaks all that stuff down. And she wants to carve out her own legacy. That's why she's going to college. That's why she's going to make something of herself. That's why she's far away from the family. I thought that was all really great. And it made me care. It made me care about a character that I previously didn't. And that's the highest. To me, there's nothing more you can say about an issue 1 that's about a C-list or a B or C-list character that you don't really know.
Yeah. Same.
For me, I was going to say, I feel like this is an expertly done first issue.
Yeah.
Yep.
It literally
Solid.
cements where Mary Marvel's been, what her current state is, who she is as a person. It brings a new supporting cast in, gives her a new status quo, and then gives us the stakes and the plot going forward. Like, it is a very, very well done first issue for a 4-issue miniseries. And then you add Doc Shaner to the mix. You can't go wrong with that. I enjoyed this a lot, actually.
If it wasn't for the next issue, this would have been my book of the week. This was a lot of fun. I enjoyed there was a moment where we're building up all to like the title page, and where she's like, but starting today, I've got one more thing to add to the list. And I'm like, it's gonna be college. And then I turn the page and it's a college. I'm like, hell yeah, it's just fun. Like that to me feels like it honestly felt almost like a manga kind of thing, where like you go into school and you're trying to live your life, but you also have this other thing that you have to deal with that is either magic or powers or whatever it is. But you're gonna know that the setting is gonna be something that's a bit more casual, and I appreciate that a little bit more than if you're doing this in a city or in Philly, I guess. I liked that, taking her out of her normal environment, putting her in some place where she has to experience something new and react to it. And I think, to what you guys are saying, I think Campbell does a really good job of having her react in a way that is true to her character, which I don't know, but from what I've gotten, it just feels, like it meshes very well.
I think that the comparison to a shonen manga is pretty apt here. School as the main set piece and the call to action of this young character with superpowers. Yeah, it's an American shonen, which, hey, that format works for a reason.
Got me.
Yeah.
Liked it.
With Peter Parker.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
One of the things that I thought was cool, and it's a small thing, but whenever she uses her powers for the first time after she becomes Shazam, and it knocks her back, and her the the animal that has told her new role is this rabbit, which I loved.
Yeah.
Is like, hey, you're way more powerful than you're used to, because you're not sharing the powers of Shazam across 5 people. You're the one. And she has to now, she's already been a superhero, right? And so in a fish out of water story where you're trying to talk about a character in a new position, but they're already a superhero, how do you make that feel fresh? And how do you make her learn something new, right? When she's already been comfortable as a superhero for years. Well, she's leveled up. She's got new powers. She's stronger than ever. She has to now adjust to that. And I think that's really smart, because that's something that can explain why whoever the villain is later, maybe she has to relearn herself to be able to beat them, which feels like what the story's about anyway. So I love the way this was set up. This was a really good first issue. I was very surprised.
And I gotta say, Billy Batson is a little shit. I don't like him.
Whoa.
I've never really liked him in the comics. I thought he's been a little shit all the time. I thought Mary was always the better one, but also like growing up, I was the goody two shoes. So like maybe I see myself in Mary. I don't know. That was poor phrasing. But
Oh God.
but no, I prefer Mary Marvel as opposed to Billy Batson, honestly. So.
I like this personal attack on him. Fuck you in particular, Billy Batson.
Yeah, I don't like him. He's a little shit. He's not. He's annoying.
And you want to know what's so funny, Tyler? This issue actually recontextualized Final Crisis for me, because correct me if I'm wrong, but there's a piece in Final Crisis where Mary Marvel gets one of those masks that took over the people, and she's bad, and she's reveling in how bad she is. And I didn't know when I read that why that mattered, and now I get it. She's the good one.
Yeah. Yep.
And she was
So
allowed to
being
let loose.
The anti-version of herself.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. So thank you, Josie Campbell, for resolving something from 2008 for me. Appreciate
And honestly, I think Josie Campbell only wrote a tie-in to Future State, the Green Lantern tie-in, previous to this. Honestly, if this is like your first big at-bat, home run,
Great,
I would say.
Great job.
She comes from the book world. Obviously,
Sure,
a lot of
yeah.
times that is a rough transition. We've seen it go bad. One of the core mistakes that they make is overwriting stuff. And I wouldn't say that was a problem that I noticed during the read. Like, it's stuffy. There is dialogue for sure. But again, this is a 4-issue mini with a character that a lot of people coming into this don't have a relationship with. You gotta do the legwork.
And I always get that novel to comic book writer transition always leads to pacing issues, in my opinion. Perfectly paced issue.
Agreed.
Yep. Yeah. I think I didn't realize that's where she's coming from. So like some of the conversations between even like her roommates makes a little bit more sense now. But I still thought that was well done. Like it shows off their individual personalities. It all just worked very, very well together. And I don't think there was anything that stuck out as like nothing in this issue stuck out as egregious or bad. It was all very well done. Kudos, Sarah.
Oh, she wrote TV. That's where she wrote. It wasn't novels.
TV.
It was
Okay,
TV.
TV.
Okay, so that I guess pacing that's a much more one-to-one, I guess, transition in terms of the medium. So that makes a lot more sense. Yeah, she wrote She-Ra and stuff like that. So
Right. Yeah, we
Okay.
talked about
yeah,
that.
I can see how that makes more sense. Yeah, great stuff.
Hope to see more.
Pull.
Yeah.
Absolutely pull.
Yep, agreed.
Pull it now.
Wow.
I don't need to be so aggressive. Jeez.
There are some people listening who might take that differently, and Marco, you have to be very careful with your words.
You can charge people for screaming that into a camera. Go ahead, Sean.
All right. Well, speaking of someone you'd like to scream something at you, scream to you at with a camera. Emma
okay.
Frost
Confirmed
on the
Art Adams cover. I looked it up.
Immortal X-Men #5. Immortal X-Men, of course, by Kieran Gillen, with Mikel Bandini on art, David Curiel on colors, Clayton Cowles again on letters. All right. This is the first issue of Immortal X-Men that I did not care for.
What?
I mean, that's typical. It's a tie-in issue, It's just one of those things that happens, I feel. I want to know why, though. I'm curious.
Okay, I will tell you, but I have a question. Was this both your books of the week? Because Tyler, you haven't said it.
Mine was Batman.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So Marco, this is yours.
Yeah, this is mine.
Okay. So my thing is that Exodus, right? I don't actually care about it. And that I never really thought about that problem of what happens when you get past Emma and Charles and Mystique and them, and you have to do issues about Exodus. And now I know that I don't care about it. The tie-in aspect of tying this into AXE, Judgment Day, Marvel Comics Presents, that didn't bother me so much because I do actually like tie-ins, and I want to see more of that, quite frankly. So
Really?
I'm into... Sorry?
even after the Empire stuff that you hated, where everything was a tie into Empire.
Oh, whoa! Don't get me wrong. I like the concept of tie-ins. I
Fair,
don't like
okay.
the execution of all tie-ins.
Sure.
But generally speaking, if you have an event, I'm gonna want more of it. So this didn't rub me the wrong way for that reason. I did have some continuity questions, and hopefully we can talk about that. But just in terms of the Exodus aspect, I was really trying because I want to give Kieran every opportunity to wow me, which has been the case throughout this run thus far. But I just couldn't get into it. It's, not that it was poorly written. There's nothing wrong with it. I just don't care.
I'm probably going to be in the middle here between the two of you. I feel like just because of the gimmick that Immortal X-Men is, where it's the Quiet Council and each issue is another POV. Again, you have to eventually get to Exodus. Why don't you just throw them in the tie-in issue? It's fine.
Yeah,
it's like sweeping them under the rug a bit. But my issue with Exodus, it's not that I don't find him interesting. Is like I don't know him.
All right.
Like next week we have Shaw. I know plenty about Shaw. Previously we had what Emma was last issue, right?
Yes.
And like the Hope issue. Like Exodus is an unknown to me, and I think this did a good job of introducing to me to who he was as a character and what he's there for. He's a prophet. He's a crusader. Like literally, he was a crusader, and that's essentially what his mutant power is. He's a crusader for the mutant messiah, which is hope. And I like how that contextualized who Exodus was as a character, what his use is on the Quiet Council, and why he exists. And like it also kind of made him like, I think previously he was a villain, or at least an antagonist. It contextualized him in a way where he's neither. He's a warrior for the mutant cause. And I like that. Cloth. Yeah, and I like that. He's a battle priest, really. Like a cleric if we're going D&D, rules.
Can I respond to that, because I have a little bit more experience with Exodus than you.
Yeah.
And I think part of the reason why I didn't care about this is because it took away some of the stuff that I find interesting about him, especially
what history do you have with it? Like I don't even know where he
just
showed up.
over the years. So like he was a follower of Magneto. So Asteroid M, he was a part of all that stuff.
Okay.
He's been in the mix. And so one of the things that's so interesting to me about him is when he realized that Magneto is not the guy. And that kind of like shook his faith, for lack of a better term. And then watching him sort of go through that. And then seeing him now under Hope and being like, enamored with her in the same way that he used to be with Magneto. I like that, right? And I like the organic telling of that story. But the recap, I just didn't care about it. I've actively enjoyed him throughout the entire Krakoa story, but it's right here specifically, this issue with the backstory, that I was like, I don't even care. Like, is
the recap there only to tie in the Eternals because Cersei was there?
You know what? I think Gillen found a way to make Exodus more relevant to the story overall.
He went
but I think,
he went to Exodus' Wikipedia page and just started, control F, typing in Eternals names. Like, did he have any interaction with Eternal? Oh, here we go. There's one.
Oh, sweet, saved.
Yeah, Cersei too. Cool.
Yeah, because then what else would the Exodus issue be? But Marco, this was your book of the week, so why'd you pick it?
For the exact reason that you laid out. I think it gave me the context for who this character was. I have no familiarity, and I think this did a great job. I'm taking these flashbacks, these stories of his origin as gospel, and like
nice.
This to me now is the basis of who Exodus is, and because of that, I'm like, oh, I fuck with this guy. Like he comes from a place of. And it could also be that, he incorporates religion into this, and that's just like a topic that I like when writers talk about. And for that reason alone, I found him really interesting because he's had these crises within himself. He has been a follower. We got a glimpse into something else where he's going to be potentially like a leader. I think in one of the I don't remember if it was in one of the other Immortal X-Men books. It was in one of them where we see like a future where he is this larger than life. He becomes almost like a god figure, and so I took that as like a potential route for him. And I thought, I think there was a lot of narration and captions, but I think it all served a good purpose to tell me who he was and why I should care. And by the end of it, I cared. I cared, from I don't know the first like few pages. It was easy to get me into it, and even the first 2 pages where he's in a desert and he's trying to figure out like who he is and what he needs, and he gets a sign, right? And that sign to me is like, oh, cool, okay. Now he has something, and he's gonna fight to the death for it because he is a crusader. The art I thought was also really, really good.
Yeah.
There were some moments where I don't think it, like some of the facial structures look a little off, in particular with the Quiet Council. But otherwise, the texture, there's like this sandy paperness to it, almost like what's his face, Greg Smallwood sometimes does. And it, of the books that we read, this was the one that engaged me the most. I was able to follow all the way through. I breezed through it. And I also wanted to call out the use of the like those technical pages. And this one, that psychic engagement plan, that was cool. That was cool to see them team up and it break out into all these zeros and ones, which is like penetrating the uni mind, and then them ultimately breaking it. I thought that was a phenomenal use of one of those just text pages. Yeah, this just worked for me on all levels.
Awesome.
I will back you up in the art. I did enjoy the Michelle Bandini art, almost more than the Lucas Wernick art that we've got in the previous issues. Honestly, it just spoke to me a little more.
I can't say that I enjoyed it quite as much as I have been the Wernick art, but I do want to highlight these 2 pages that I really loved, which show the mutants in their old 90s costumes from the time when Exodus was with Magneto. Magneto's in his red, which it's my favorite Magneto costume, one of my favorite costumes in comics. But then you also see Cyclops in his old gear and stuff like that. I love to see those throwback costumes.
Sean,
I don't want to read the. Sorry, go ahead.
Are you still reading X-Men Red?
I am, but I haven't read this week's or last week's or last month's.
Do it. Very important stuff happens.
Yeah.
Especially for the Judgment Day stuff. Yeah.
Well, dude. Oh man, I wish I had the cover the book with me. That you know what? If you guys just give me a moment, just vamp real quick, I'm gonna get that cover.
Sure. I'm gonna look and see what cover he's looking for. But yeah, the X-Men Red stuff has been really good. Did you get the A cover with that Cable on it?
Yes, dude.
Yeah.
Take a look if you're watching.
Cool.
If you're watching on YouTube or live, like this cover is amazing. So it shows Cable, just the bones of Cable, his techno-organic arm, just sludgy and collapsed from his body, like he's dead, and that's from the fight with Thanos's grandfather that takes place on
Uranos,
Oracle.
yeah.
Dude, I can't wait to
you get to see what happens in that issue. So
I figured
really?
that.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right.
I
I'll
wanted
pick it up.
I wanted us to read it this week, but I didn't want to overload, and I felt the books we read this week were just a little bit more.
There was too much buzz on it on Twitter for me to not read it, so I had to read it because I felt like I was going to be spoiled if I didn't read it. So
yeah, I'll read it. I'll probably read it afterwards.
One of the other things that I really, really liked about this was, so I don't have as much experience with like even Hope, and so I thought it was really funny, those interactions where she's like swearing and she's being kind of like rowdy, and he's just like, she's our messiah, and she's going around being like, fuck this guy, I'm gonna kill this person, like that. It's also just good levity, and that worked very well for me.
Hope to me is a fantastic character. I feel like she's gotten a bad rap over the years, but I've always loved her. Part of it is because I've literally watched her grow up in the books. I've seen her from her very, very first appearance, and I don't know. I just love who she's become. I think she's awesome, and it's great that Gillen has taken this opportunity to make her a player. She should be. She's supposed to be. She is the mutant messiah. You know what I'm saying? So I love that Exodus has sort of seen her in that light as well. That's really fun. It's smart. Whoever it was that thought about that, I'm assuming Gillen, but it might have been Hickman. It's smart to pair those two together.
Yeah.
I go ahead.
Sorry. Last call out on the art perspective. There's this one page where right after Wolverine comes in and it's like, we gotta stop the Eternals, where he goes into this almost like, I don't know, poetic moment where he's holding Emma as like a shield of diamonds, and then the sword of hope. I'm like, oh, that works visually very well. It works thematically for the book, and there's also like a transition where he goes from his just regular armor. Then the next panel in, it's all the same body, but it's broken up by panels. It's divided up into that, and it then shows him back in his crusade armor, because like at the end of the day, that's exactly who he is. He's gonna fight the just cause.
So I referenced earlier a continuity question that I had, and maybe I'm misremembering, but in Marvel Presents AXE Judgment Day #1, we see the invasion happen, right?
Yeah.
And the way it's presented there, Destiny comes to realize that they're about to be under attack, and then they're under attack. And if I'm remembering correctly, those are simultaneous things. She realizes it, and then shortly after that, within the same time frame, like minutes, they're attacked. Is that correct? Does that
but I think she warns them beforehand, like in the Quiet Council meeting. She's like, "Hey, I had this premonition. Here's what I remember happening," and then it's like, "Oh, it's happening right now. Oops."
Got it. And this is moments. This is that conversation.
Yeah, and I think it might be verbatim the same conversation. Honestly,
there was dialogue that I thought I remembered, but I wasn't sure. So okay, fair enough.
It's Gillen, so that would make sense, right? If it was like literally the same.
Okay, that clears that up. I pass. I mean, not pass. I'm sorry.
Whoa.
not pass. Pull for sure. It's not my favorite issue. I don't think it's bad by any means. I struggle to care about the story of Exodus, but I still think it has all the things that have made this book good through the previous 4 issues.
I just pulled it up. So that first part where Professor X is saying the Eternals, they hold no grudge that we know of. We expected Orcus. That is all there. And then Exodus says Sinister is gone. We should purge him. And then it plays out the exact same way where they get attacked. So Destiny doesn't say anything. She only responds afterwards.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Marco's book of the week. I say pull. Tyler, of course. Pull.
I would agree. Yeah.
So you said Shaw's the next one. We haven't seen a Professor X one yet. That's the one that I'm most looking forward to at this point.
I'm curious to see what happens when we've done everyone. You know, like
right.
Is that
is it
the length
over?
of Gillen's run? You know, or do we relaunch with a new #1? I don't know.
No idea.
We'll see.
Well, there's 2 seats still missing because they're not full, right?
Well, Magneto left.
And they haven't filled his spot.
I think.
Isn't that the one Hope took?
I think
no.
Yeah,
Hope took Jean's.
Hope took Jean's spot, but Destiny took.
Magneto's spot.
Magneto's.
No, Apocalypse's spot. No, because
she took Apocalypse's spot. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think
and
Magneto's
Storm's not
still
there anymore. I'm confused now.
Well, she's still part of it, but just not there.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, there's been so much
because then Colossus and Nightcrawler took spots too.
Yes.
Right.
Well, Nightcrawler's been there. Colossus was new.
Yeah, Nightcrawler had been there from the beginning. Colossus came in, but Colossus is still there.
Colossus is still there. Yeah.
Well, in any event, we'll have that figured out for next time. But in any event, that's it for our reviews for now. But the show's not over, of course, because we do still have Comics Tag.
So Sean, yeah, I kind of threw this on you in the middle of the show last week.
Yeah,
this came on the fly. I literally made edits to the slideshow mid-show. If you watch it back, you can see the slides start over again. It's because that's when I edited it in. I think it was Fear Agent previous to this. But instead, I tagged you with Hulk by Jeff Loeb and Ed McGuinness. How far did you get into it? I didn't give you a limit. It could have been 1 issue. It could have been 10.
Tyler, I love you, but I've never liked you less.
Really? You still weren't a fan?
It was atrocious.
It was booty.
I disagree.
Really, really bad. So I read 2 issues. I gave it an honest try. I read 2 issues front to back, and I was prepared. First of all, I should say this. I logged into Comixology,
Oh.
and I forgot to get rid of my subscription from last year. So I still have it.
That's how subscriptions work.
Yep.
So I was like, okay, well, at least I have this, so I can read, this run. And I was prepared to read as much as I could get through that night, and I had time to kill. So I said, all right, we'll see. I tried to read it on Comixology, and it was awful, and a truly awful experience. Not the book. Trying to read the book on Comixology.
Oh yeah.
Really bad, brutal. Now, mind you, I was doing it on my computer, but if I can't read something on my computer digitally, then it's just not translated properly.
Sure.
I should be able to read it on whatever platform. And so I couldn't do that. So I had to read it another way. And I, again, had time to kill, so I said, let's do it. Ed McGuinness, I dig that. I like Ed McGuinness.
Sure.
When this book was first announced, I remember I said, okay, Ed McGuinness, I like it. Jeff Loeb, traditionally, I enjoy his work. I could not get past, at the time, the concept of a Red Hulk. I really despise copy-paste characters.
It's a little colorist, huh?
Yes, I hate Red. But I like Red Hulk now. So I said, okay, now that I like Red Hulk, now that I'm not 18 and I'm removed from all that, how do I feel about the book? I thought it was really bad. I thought it was really, really bad.
So part of me wonders if one of the hooks of the book previous, like when it was coming out week to week or month to month, was who is the Red Hulk?
Yeah.
And it was trying to play a guessing game. Is it the leader? Is it also Bruce? Is it Betty? That was a thing for a while. So knowing it's Ross the whole time kind of maybe skews your view on it.
Well, to be honest, you would think that would help because
I guess, yeah.
I like Thunderbolt Ross. And again, I like Red Hulk now. I despised the character really bad. I like him now, but I couldn't get past what I personally felt was really rough dialogue. Jokes that, I don't think were funny in 2008. Maybe other people did, but I definitely don't think they're funny now. The bit with She-Hulk in the first issue where what's his name? Oh my god, I can't believe I'm forgetting his name. The dude whose hair grows when he's angry.
Oh, Doc Samson.
Thank you, Samson. Where Samson's just beating on her, and they're supposed to be recreating what the Red Hulk did there. That just didn't work for me. And then she's like, "Oh, I could get people to pay me to do this." Okay. It even takes place in the right time frame for me. This is post-Civil War. This is Iron Man as the director of S.H.I.E.L.D. I love that shit. I will never, ever read this again.
That's fair.
I tried. You asked me to try, and I read 2 issues for you.
It's funny. Have you read Jeff Parker's Red Hulk run?
No.
That's what Gabriel Hardman on art.
Oh, now.
I might. There is good. That's the thing. There's like good Red Hulk too.
But I like Red Hulk now. I just don't like this. But
I don't like how he doesn't. I don't like how he loses his mustache. I always thought that was annoying. But I guess for the hook, he couldn't have him have the mustache because like, all right, I know that mustache when I see it. But
and then also on my nuts. I mean, I'm sure it's been a long time since you read this, but like, Thunderbolt Ross is like hiding in a corner somewhere with other people. But at the same time, the Red Hulk is fighting Iron Man.
Yeah, that's part of what was like the swerve. I forget. It might have been he wasn't a life model decoy. I don't know. That sounds like something that I could just throw out there. I don't know if that's true or not.
I think everybody had a more life model decoy in 2008. So sure, fine, I can accept that. That's fine. Yeah. Unfortunately, this tag wasn't for me. I totally didn't enjoy it, except for the Ed McGuinness artwork, and getting to live in the world that I enjoy, which is 2008 Marvel.
So you're saying
But
it makes a good poster, but that's about it.
Sure, fine.
Okay.
You could say
Yeah.
that. Now I have the power, and you know what? I'm still not going to use it for evil.
That's good. Better man than I.
I know. Instead, I'm going to tag Marco.
Yeah, shit.
Have I tagged anyone with a thing they didn't like yet? I mean, come on. I don't think I have.
No, you haven't. If anything, the last like
You gave me the Spawn movie.
Okay, all right.
Maybe that's what this is. This was the Hulk was revenge for the Spawn movie.
I gave that to you as revenge for some other shit you did to me. So,
Well, that's how violence works. Violence
done
begets
nothing.
violence begets violence.
He's done nothing but turn me into a Remender fan. So
hey man,
Easy to do. Easy to do.
Exactly. And if that's the only thing I'm good for, then I'm happy.
Give him access.
I'm gonna give you access. How about that?
I don't know if I ever finished it, to be honest. I was very jaded at that point, so
I begrudgingly finished it because
completionist.
Sean-
I get it.
yeah.
Sean, you missed an opportunity. There. I'm gonna give you the axe.
You know,
Marvel
I let
Comics
it slide.
presents AXE Judgment Day.
I'm gonna give you the AXE. You know what, Marco? Since you are now the only person, I'm pretty sure, who is a part of the Comics Pals that has not read Grant Morrison's Batman.
I read the Batman and Robin stuff.
You haven't read Grant Morrison's Batman.
Okay. Okay.
I'm going to tag you, and this is so awkward, but I'm going to tag you to read the first two issues of Grant's Batman.
I can maybe get those exact issues.
The reason why I say it's awkward, it's like 659 or something like that.
666 is like the big
yeah.
famous issue. That's
Yeah.
like, oh, I
Ooh.
see where he's going with this. But
Oh
ooh,
my god, that I would.
If
love
you can
to
make
tag
it
you
at
with
666, Marco, ooh, you're gonna
That's
be
a lot.
If you make it at 666, you're gonna read his whole run or their whole run at this point.
That. Yeah, I'm gonna tag you with the first two. They're a lot of fun. It's different, I would say, certainly different than what we've been reading of Batman. Very different than Tom King's run, but Grant's run is phenomenal. I'm gonna get you in on the ground floor. Read
You're
the
correct,
first
Sean.
two issues.
655 is the first one. Yep.
There you go.
The trade is Batman and Son by Grant Morrison and Andy Kubert.
The Kubert art is awesome.
okay.
Yes.
It's good.
And pay attention, Marco, because you're the art guy.
Uh-huh.
Pay very close attention to the art. Because I'm telling you right now, I don't think I've ever read a comic book where the art was more important. Where the art did more storytelling.
Okay.
Have you read J.H. Williams' art?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
But
yeah, that's saying something. Yeah.
But in terms of like, I won't spoil it here, but Tyler, you know where the run goes. How important is the art to the story? If you really look, you could figure out almost the whole story by just paying attention. Especially in the issue where he fights the ninja bats, which I think is the second or third one. If you look at that issue and you just follow the transitions and what Kubert highlights, it's so good what he's doing there. It's like it's mind blowing. But I'll stop gushing. That's the tag for this week.
Okay. It's not on Comixology, but I have the DC app. Let me pull
Oh, it should be on the DC app.
Batman and
It's got to be on the DC app. If anything, just drive over to my place. I got the Omnibuy. You can just borrow a tome if you want.
I do too, and same offer stands.
I got it. Okay, cool. Batman, not Second Son. Son of Batman.
Although that Batman and Robin with Frank Quitely,
is good. Yeah, that's real good.
it's top
That-
5
that I
comics for
read.
me.
Yeah.
I got it. Okay, I got it. They actually have a whole section that is Batman: The Complete Grant Morrison Saga.
Nice.
As they should.
As they should.
Yeah.
Well,
Holy shit, 84 books.
yeah, it's a lot. You should tune in next week to listen to us talk about some of the books that we're about to highlight right now in Pals Books.
Yeah, so for this week, Sean, you pulled Marvel Comics Presents AXE Avengers X-Men Eternals Judgment Day #2.
There you go. Say the title properly. Thank you,
Yeah.
Tyler. Look at the cover, right? Which is a massive, massive celestial. And that's why I'm buying the book.
That's all? You like a big robot?
Love. The first issue was strong. It wasn't perfect, but it was strong. Enough of a foundation that I really want to see where it goes. And again, I love events. I am a total sucker. 2 of my favorite books right now are the 2 events happening from the big 2. So hopefully AXE can keep up with Dark Crisis, and we'll see in the next issue.
And you're also pulling Ghost Rider Vengeance Forever. I believe this is like a one-shot, sort of a celebratory issue.
Yeah, it's 50 years, 60 years of Ghost Rider, something
I think
like
it's
that.
60, yeah, I think it's 60.
So I've actually kept
It's
up
50.
with the Ghost
Spider-Man
50.
60, yeah.
Right. I've kept up with the Ghost Rider main book.
It's
by
good.
Benjamin Percy. It's quite good. It's quite good. And I'm going to say something stupid right now. Okay? I have known about Ghost Rider for just about as long as I've known about like Spider-Man and the X-Men and stuff like that. I never realized that Ghost Rider is a horror character. I'm being totally honest. I never put that together.
The flaming skull didn't tip you off?
No, I didn't expect that I'd buy a Ghost Rider series and that it would be a horror book the way it is. I never
fair.
bought a Ghost Rider book before. I love it. I think it's fantastic. And so now I want to read this anniversary celebration issue and see some of the creators from, the past of Ghost Rider coming back to tell some cool stories with the character and see what he was like. I'm excited for that.
Is Jason Aaron coming back for this? No, he's not. That's a shame.
I didn't realize Aaron. Well, I'm sure I knew that, but I've since
Oh, Aaron's run is nice. That's a fun
Yeah.
run. Yeah, that was right when he was doing Wolverine. If you were reading around then.
Boy, was I.
I will say, current Ghost Rider book is like a monster of the week sort of thing, and it's fun. I recommend it.
Ooh, that's fun.
It is, yeah. There was I'm catching up. I'm not fully caught up, but there was one where like an evil highway. It's fun.
An evil highway?
Yeah.
That's cool as fuck, dude.
Yeah.
Remember the truck with the monster face that it had like teeth? Did you see that? Yeah. Good stuff.
Good stuff.
Yeah, that's me.
I'm picking up Parker Girls #1 because it's a new Terry Moore book.
Oh, is that Terry Moore?
Yeah, dude.
Oh,
yeah, ever
stop doing
since shit, what was the one with the gorilla? Marco, help me out here.
No, I don't know. I only knew
Oh,
the last
okay.
one, Serial.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so before Serial, it's I gotta look it up now.
I'm a recent convert. I
But
don't know.
yeah, Matt, a friend of the show, Matt Murphy, tipped me off to Terry Moore years ago. And pretty much any new Terry Moore book, I pick up because it's a safe bet.
That it's going to be phenomenal.
Yeah, and they're usually like really good. There's like usually a good hook to each of his books that I love. I gotta see it. It's at the tip of my tongue. Who? 5 years was another one that he did. Strangers in Paradise is the big one.
Yeah.
Man,
Love
why
is
is it? Motor
something
Girl.
love?
That's what it is. Motor Girl. Motor Girl was my favorite one. So yeah, any Terry Moore book I'm into. I think it's great stuff. One of the few guys that like self-publishes everything. He's like a made man. He does all his own stuff. Real good stuff. And then I'm picking up Predator #1
Yeah.
I was surprised.
from
you
Marvel
pulled this.
Comics. Me too. I'm not a big like IP kind of guy, like the Alien book and stuff like that. But when I realized the creative team is Ed Brisson and Kev Walker, that's a team.
Is it
That's a
not
team I'm interested
Linneo-
in.
Is it not Linneo Francis Yu?
No, it's Kev Walker on art.
Okay.
And I'm a big Kev Walker guy. So once I heard that, I was very interested.
Kev Walker did Thunderbolts at some point, right?
Jeff Parker's Thunderbolts. He also
Yeah,
worked
yeah.
on Avengers Arena. I don't know if you read that one.
I read Thunderbolts, and I loved Kev Walker on that.
Yeah, that's when Thunderbolts was. They had a 30-member roster, like Centurion and Boomerang and Mr. Hyde. Oh, that's good Thunderbolts, man. That's some good stuff. But yeah, can't believe I'm going to say I'm going to read a Predator book. I don't think it's like, even though it's a Marvel book, I don't think it ties into Marvel or anything like that.
Right, no. Yeah.
It's similar to the Alien stuff that Philip Kennedy Johnson's been doing. So yeah, I'm interested in this one. Marco, you are picking Starhenge book 1, number 2. Oh, that's weird.
All right. So when we did the review, was super down on this book. I think almost all of us were, and there's something there that I know. There's something there that I know he's trying to get across. Liam Sharp, he does both the writing, the art, and this just feels like his baby. And because of that, I want to just give it another shot. I want to see what happens in the second issue. I want to see if some of the things that happened in the first issue start to make sense. And if not, I'm going to drop it after this. But I'm giving it a lot of grace at the moment to give it a number 2, especially for how down I was for the first issue. But I'm hopeful. We'll see what happens, but I'm gonna see what happens.
Please let me know, because I don't think that's going to be on the docket for next week.
I would say probably not.
Definitely not.
And then you're picking up a Samurai Doggy. This is an Aftershock book.
So this is an Aftershock book. So the artist Santos, I like him. I follow him on Instagram.
Yo, he just goes by Santos.
That's it. That's his
Hey,
name.
I love a singular
for the-
named person.
Work for WWE.
He's a Brazilian artist. I know him from Land of the Living Gods, which was another Aftershock book that I picked up that had I'm forgetting who it was on the writing front, but I didn't stick with it. It was fine, but I thought the art was phenomenal. And it's
Marco, that was written by Isaac Mogajane.
Okay, yeah. And I really love the art, just the style, the way it was rendered. And for that reason alone, I started following this guy. And he's putting out a book. This is with, I'm trying to find, with Chris Tex. It looks just cool. It's a cool concept. It's a, I'll read you the blurb real quick. During the Fourth War of the Sun, a small dog named Doggy experienced an irreplaceable trauma. His mother was brutally murdered, and his 8 brothers, still puppies, were kidnapped by a mysterious man. He gets left for dead and then gets resurrected as a samurai doggy by a mechanical vulture. That's fucking wacky, all right? Done. Sold.
This
Easy.
reminds me to the actual origin story for Dopey from Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
What?
What?
So they were gonna do a Seven Dwarfs movie after the success of Snow White, and the pitch was gonna be an origin story for them. And the reason why Dopey is a mute is because he watched his parents die in front of him.
Holy shit.
Definitely want to have that for children. That sounds like a great idea.
Yeah, that's out there. But this is like
great.
classic samurai story, though.
Exactly, right? And I think the fact that it's a dog just adds a little charm to it. It is it's a $5.99 book, but it's 48 pages. So I feel like I'm getting my money's worth too. So I'm like, hey, you know what? Hell yeah, I'm down. And I've not read Chris Tex, but he's the writer on this. But we'll see.
Cool. Yeah, Chris Tex previously did Blackout for Behemoth Comics.
Okay, Behemoth puts out some okay stuff.
Unfamiliar,
depending what it
but
is.
yeah.
All right, so that's going to do it for our show this week. Let us know if there are any books that you want us to review. We're always happy to take listener submissions, or at least, hear you guys out on books you would like us to read.
Suggestions, not submissions.
Suggestions.
I only got so much time in the day, guys.
Please don't. Yeah, if you want us to read your personal book, that's a different matter. Which we've been dealing with that recently. But Thank you guys so much for listening. If you want to support the show, the best way to do so is patreon.com/thecomicspals, where for as little as $3 a month, you can support your boys and get some pretty cool stuff. You get our newsletter. You can get a special superhero or supervillain nickname. You get to watch our Patreon exclusive show, Palling Around. Got a lot of cool stuff going on over there, guys. So if you want to, support and get some more content, that'd be the way to do that. Twitch.tv/thecomicspals, where you can watch this show live every single Thursday night at 6 p.m. Eastern, and our main show at 10:15 a.m. Eastern. We're going to be talking about the Warner Discovery madness that's going on. That's going to take up the bulk of our show. I have a lot to say.
We also have a confirmation for one of the predictions that we had for this year. So
we sure do, and I don't remember who got that right. So, you okay?
Pretty sure. I got
Very
thoughts
good.
about that for this Saturday. So
shit, I think I got that wrong. I'm pretty sure I got that wrong.
Fingers crossed.
Wow. All right. Well, tune in with us to hear us talk about that and a lot more. Thank you guys so much for listening. Until next time, we're the Comic Spouse signing off. Take care, guys.
See you next week. Trapsword, thanks for being a boy.
that's how we're ending it. All right. Being a boy. All right. See you guys.
Well, he's stuck on the whole thing.
I know. He's thank you for being a friend, Golden Girls. Yeah. All right. Bye, guys.